Madam. Thank you. Respected Professor Balchandra sir, Dean, the School of Education, Kathmandu University, and Binod sir, the head of the STEAM department, Indramani sir, and all other friends. And our topic will be the latest brand of school. May I request Paris sir to share the screen? Yes, thank you, sir. Before I get into the topic, allow me to ask you questions. Let us take a moment and just visualize the school and the college or the university that you and I attended in the past. And you just think about anything that comes in your mind when you were in school. What was that wow moment? Something that really you can cherish about, something that really you can just be proud of. You can just write it down here. Let us look at the school, and you can write it here. It can be your school, it can be your college or university. What comes in your mind? Yes, you can just drop it down here in the chat box. Yeah, please. Let us take a minute. Yeah. Am I audible? Yeah, please. Am I audible?
So you are audible, sir?
Yes, yeah. Yes, school trips, just college trips. Yeah, friends. It's a progressive in a sense. Infrastructure. Yeah, we remember our infrastructure. Yes. Yeah, we do remember our school premise. Yeah, that comes in our mind. It's a building or color that really attracts ourselves. And is it a classroom sometime? The layout of the classroom, bench and desk, and even the whiteboard that we have in our school. So, is it our teacher time? The way he or she treats us, her approach or his approach, and sometimes we remember our teachers also, or his or her way of delivery also. It might be the logo sometime, the name of the school, a location where it is, maybe the worksheet, maybe the notebook that captures our attention. Sometimes a school dress can be, our highlight. The tie and shoes, that becomes the highlight. Or your friends, like, we remember our friends, though we don't see them at the moment, but we remember them. So that becomes the highlight. So it might be a playground. Some of us are we love sports and we just remember the playground. So when I go to, when I remember myself, I remember my school and then I remember my school bus. But then now, my daughter goes to a school. Whenever I look at her school bus, I can relate with her the whole school. I mean, it's not just a school bus; it goes beyond the bus. So I can think about her schooling. I can think about her teacher. I can think about where she will be now. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, yes. And the question here comes: why the bus is in yellow? Why it has to be in yellow? Of course, there is a reason behind this. That yellow is much more visible. Even it's a rain, if there is a rain, if there is a foggy or some sort of cloudy also. Even it's a lukewarm weather. It's very much visible. So the brand it's more than what we see. It goes beyond the name of visible things. It goes beyond that label. So let's go further. So what exactly is brand? What does it mean by brand? So the brand is the promise. It's a big idea or expectation that reside in each customer's mind about the product, service, or company. So it's about the holistic aspect. It's not just, it's very inclusive. It's not just a building. It's not just a logo that we often remember. It's not just about the building or business. It's more than that. Brand is talking here. So branding is about the emotional connection. So as Wheeler talks in her paper, it's about the emotional connection. It connects people. It connects the community. It's about the culture of the school organization or university. It's about the atmosphere of learning. It's about the mindset or the old view or the way we interact with each other. It's more than just the physical thing as such that we logo. So, so brand is ultimately what do you do? I mean, what we do? It's how you present yourself in everyday life. So it's, as I said, it's a promise, of course. So let's look at this one. Brand for this school is not about the selling things. It's about the telling who you are and what identity you are having, so that you want to share that identity to other people. So it's about telling. It's about the sharing the old views, old views of academic. It can be academic. It can be a culture. It's not about the selling that we often remember. So how does it help you and your school? How does it help to me and my school then? So what happens in every year, a new family comes to our school or new parents come to our school. And then, I mean, what exactly they want from this school? What they are looking for. For example, if you and I want to take our children to our school, new school, of course we want to see something coming up from this school. So we want to have that sort of identity. As an educator, you want to do everything you can to get their attention or show them what you are all about. So, but then how do you do when you are not sure how or where they will encounter you? It's the question that we need to think about. So then, so how and what to do by schools then? That's where school branding comes in. That's where we talk about branding. So as I said earlier, branding is the process of presenting your school character, school's overview, school's holistic aspect of teaching and learning. It's not just teaching and learning, it's the holistic aspect. So it's about the communication, it's about the relationship, the way you broadcast things to the community. You can give a newsletter, your banner, it's everything that you do through the school. So it's the best way to put the particular image in people's mind when they think about your school. What sort of image that we have passed on? What sort of legacy that we have left in our community, so that they can think of our school, they can think about university. This is one of the very, very important things that we need to think about. When I talk about the STEAM attributes, can STEAM sharpen our branding? This is the question comes here. When I talk about the quality, does the quality really resembles the STEAM pedagogy, or is it just informing sort of pedagogy? What sort of perception that we have had in our branding? Do we have branding in our school? Do we have branding in our universities? How loyal we are towards the community, towards the people? If there is no community and people, I mean, we just become abstract. What sort of identity we are having, so that we want to pass it on to the others? Do they trust us? These are the questions that reflects. Then again, coming back to the STEAM then. So are we able to transform ourselves, thinking or taking brand beyond the name and object? It's more than object. So these are the things we need to think about. Our quality, our trust, our identity, our loyalty, our perception has to do very much with STEAM. And without STEAM, I think branding goes in vain. That's what I perceive personally. So with this note, I want to hand over to my friend Parishar. Can you just carry it on from?
Yes, sir. Thank you, John, for a wonderful presentation. I will carry on from this slide. Let's. How is your school perceived by? You can always think of how your current and prospective student perceive your school. Let's start from our KUSED itself, Kathmandu School of University. Whenever we see this building, we come across there's a white color building, there's a logo, there's an art down. So we perceive a lot of things. You can also write in your chat box what you perceive whenever you think of KUSED or whenever you see KUSED. So I have, in next slide, I presented, whenever I think of KUSED, I see the 4 different type of slides our lecturers, professors, they present us. So I want to ask a question to all of you that there's any similarities. What do you think of Kuset? Does it represent the Kushan University? What it lacks, you know? So you can critically analyze this one. And a few years back, I had done a study on the ID card of Kathmandu University, and I found that there are different kinds of font and even different color of logos and different style has been used, and there is no consistency. So it actually hampers the image of the university, image of the school. So it has to be a uniform. And let's proceed further for our Kuset flyer. This flyer is of the last week, and Vinod sir requested us to make a flyer for this time, and it's totally different. So it's from the same university, but it's too different. The colors are different, the image are different, the style different. So everything is different. There is no similarities, and I would like to ask you the question: why you think it's different? You know, is there anything? Is why it's different? Because of any reason? So you can post your comment on the chat box. And if you see the flyer from the other week, it's totally different. So we cannot resemble anything from all these flyers that it's from the same university beside the logo. So there is no any resemble of the colors, any pattern, any what kind of promise it want to give us. So it's totally flyers are totally different. So school branding it's all about creating a consistent image so that no matter where people encounter your school, they resemble that, oh, this is this school. Whenever you see their bus or their bag, any branding element, it must resemble your school identity. So maybe on your school website, email, school board, notebook, school van, social media, and beyond, it should resemble that brand element of your school or the promise of your school. So they'll recognize you and connect with the image you want to present. So branding is nothing but the image you want to present to your student, teachers, maybe the potential students. And why school branding? If you browse website of a potential student, by a potential students or a legal guardian of students, they want to know if they will fit in to your school or college or university. And does the school align with a family's mindset about your education, about your image, about the kind of thing you want to present? And branding can ease those concerns for students and their families. So branding is very important for a school. So it also makes the school more memorable and recognizable. And how to brand a school? So we have to design an identity package from their logo to newsletter to business card, letterhead, proposals, publication, presentations, stationaries, t-shirts. So we have to have some kind of similarities in whatever we do in different forms of identity. So school brand identity is nothing. It's the visible elements of brand such as a color, logo, design that identify and distinguish the brand in the student, teachers, parents, any other potential students' mind. So for teaching and pedagogy, there is a curriculum. It's driven by curriculum. The school is driven by curriculum. Your learning is driven by curriculum. Everything is driven by curriculum. In teaching, and there's a teaching and pedagogy. So for school communication, we must have a branding guideline so that school have a consistent image for the school leadership, for the school management. So there must be school communication on one umbrella, and that's a brand guideline. It's also called a brand style guide and are very essential for as instruction manual, rule book, how to communicate to your brand with your student, teachers. potential students. They lay out all visual details as well as important notes about school's voice, tone, messaging. And whenever Binod sir requested us to make a flyer, and we could not make on time because we didn't have any guideline. So it was very difficult for us to design the flyer, where to keep the logo, what color to be used, what promises to be presented. So we are unaware and we couldn't make a very good flyer, and we ended up with the flyer we have presented, emailed you. So brand guideline is creating a design element. It's creating everything beforehand. So what our copy will look like, our letterhead will be, our presentation template, what kind of identity card will be using by students. If there's a wall clock, how it should look like, how it should represent us. There's cap, t-shirt. So it should be done in quite in advance, so that it can relate to our students, it can relate to our potential student, and it set an image in the student in minds and in the market. So STEAM and branding. So it's a visual representation what a student, teacher, parents see. It automatically associate with that school, like a name, font, a set of colors. And design, art, and branding have always gone together. So we are talking about STEAM, and A stand for art, and branding is the form of art. It's a very creative form of art to be presented to the student, teachers, potential students. And it creates a unique experience for student and parents. So whenever you send an email or you have a presentation template, a newsletter, it should resemble that, oh, this belongs to KUSET, or this belongs to a certain school, ABC school. So branding is an art, as I've already told you. So it's artistic-based communication is essential in today's world, and everyone loves artistic-based communication. So branding is an art in the form of communication of school. So student parents are more conscious of design elements and their choice in the school, whom to use as a service provider reflect this. And even the schools that have been around for decades are starting to revamp their style. So STEAM without, I cannot imagine STEAM without branding and management. So imagine you have a school, you run it very successfully, or STEAM school, or a progressive school, conservative school. Then after a few years, you will try to expand it, maybe to Lalitpur, Bhaktapur, Viratnagar, Dharan, other places, Surkhet, many places. How you will do it if you don't have a brand guideline? You cannot go to every place and physically support it. So brand guideline is a must, so that you can grab a benefit of giving the franchise in the later years. And schools are facing this kind of problem who are opening the branches. And a few schools are adopting the brand guidelines so that it will be easy for them to expand and create an image in the students, parents, and potential students or the parents' mind. So these are our reference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful
Any
presentation.
question? Yes.
Yes. So obviously the brand, it will add a value in the community. And if there is any question, the floor is open, and you can ask some of the question.
I think there is a question about what about the quality perspective.
Perspective, yes.
Yes, sir.
But-
I think it's as I said earlier, like brand is not just selling or something that we think about the business. It's more about the quality also. It's more about the teaching, learning. It's more about the what sort of teaching methodology you are trying to represent. That comes into the school branding. So there is a sort of reservation on the word as itself. but then it goes beyond. As I said, it's very much inclusive in nature, and we have to think it broadly, holistically. That's I don't know whether I'll be able to communicate or not. Please, you can ask. I think Parishar can explain more.
No, sir, you have explained very rightly, sir. It's beyond the color logo. It's about what promise you want to convey to your students, potential students, and the community. So the other advantage I would also like to add is whenever you have a branding element or the branding guideline, uh, people will perceive as a very managed organization, organized organization. So there must be who prepares in advance. So there's a management element in the branding also. It's not only art and design, but there's some kind of management involved in that guideline.
So is there any question? The floor is open.
Okay.
Ramesh,
May I speak, Prerna ma'am?
sure, sir.
Okay. First of all, it's a really new kind of innovative domain of study or even discussion, especially in the context of educational sector or educational area. You have both of you, Pariskit sir and Janak sir, have raised actually new kind of you have used a kind of STEAM presentation in this Saturday, we call it webinar, yeah. So I appreciate your new thought, talking about the brand, the value of brand. So I have one concern. Just you're sharing the expanding the STEAM schools in different areas of Nepal, different locations of Nepal. But I believe STEAM, is not kind of a kind of building. STEAM is not represented by a building or an outlook. STEAM is an approach which can be implemented in every school, whatever with the infrastructure, whatever with the building or everything. It is the inner part that can be implemented in a school. So I have that kind of reservation, something like that. I might be wrong, but I think STEAM is not related to the just appearance of the building or something like that. And okay, anyway, thank you very much one more time for this good presentation. Thank you very much.
Prerna ma'am, should I respond to Ramesh, sir?
Sure.
Yeah,
sir.
thank you for your suggestion. Yes, you are right that STEAM is not only the building or logo or colors. It's the how the meaning making is done. But if you want to expand or if you want to take a franchise, even Prerna ma'am will also know better because she's also a candidate school for some IB course. You have to first understand the guideline before getting a certain kind of affiliation from the different world-class school. And the world-class school without branding, you cannot imagine. Even it's STEAM or IB or any other course you can say, they all have the brand guideline. Even the country have a brand guideline. Can you imagine our football player wearing one kind of dress in one match, red color, then again blue color, then yellow color in the other match? So they have also a consistency. Even country, even the state in the Canada, they have a branding guideline. So they want to distinguish their state from another state. Maybe a Karnali have their own branding guideline. Maybe a Bagmati can have a different branding guideline. So then they can attract, a lot of potential immigrants. So it's not only limited to school or business, it's limited to country, sports club. So it's very wider perspective. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your kind of insightful reply response.
Okay, thank you so much. So is there any question regarding the presentation?
Yeah, Prerna ma'am. I have one question. So regarding branding, what we have seen right now, it's more of quantitative based. What about qualitative? How we can brand in the quality sense?
Branding is an art where you can present the quality. So I have presented what kind of branding is done by CUSED, and there are you can even resonate the school building. You cannot resonate the card. You cannot resonate anything from the PowerPoint template. So you cannot associate that it's from the who said, you know. So if you want quality, you have to be very managed, organized. So quality element will be always there. It's not only quality, but there are a lot of design thinking element which we have studied. Actually, it's not just come out of blue. So there are a lot of design thinking process behind building the brand guideline. So there are a lot of steps which I haven't explained here because it will be too technical. I've just gone through the kind of problem and solution. So there are a lot of design thinking process to generate the guidelines so that you can highlight the quality and the quality of it. Also resonate with what kind of philosophy your school is run by, on the basis of which kind of philosophy your school is running. So you can also present on that variables.
Okay, thank you, Parikshit sir.
Thank you so much for your questions. So I don't think there is any questions. So on the conclusion, regarding the conclusion, and we are hoping you to provide a valuable and concrete insight regarding our STEAM education. So we are conducting this webinar every Saturday. So we request you to fill the form. And our Sarita ma'am, she has posted the form over there. You can click it and fill the form and do the attendance. And you will be getting e-certificate after attending the certain webinars. And I would like to request our Binod sir, who is Binod sir, for his concluding remarks. I think we need to conclude the webinar.
Thank you so much, Prerna ma'am. Thank you for very wonderful session and then a very wonderful presentation. And today we had let's say two kind of presentation. The first, our Shivadatta Dawadi sir, who is also a visiting faculty at Kathmandu University School of Education. So he shared his journey from journey of a researcher from quantitative to qualitative, and then he clearly articulated the essence of this, the need of this qualitative research, even though he has a statistical background. So it does not mean that he blamed this quantitative aspect, but he shared his how did he make a shift from quantitative to qualitative. So I think that the research journey our Shivadatta Dawadi sir has shared in this platform, it became very useful to all the attendees. The second, the most important aspect, and because today we had a kind of slightly we had a another level of presentations, because in the last webinars almost all the presenters, they used to talk about pedagogical approaches, but today Janak sir and Parikshit sir, they shared about this branding one. And then so thanks for sharing very insightful ideas, because he also brought the very live let's say this context, the branding of Kathmandu School of Education and this and that. But as far as I understood about this branding, so they have not focused only on building logo and card. They have also focused on branding our curriculum, branding our institutional culture, branding our relationship with other customers. For example, Parikshit sir, I want to share that we may not have some brandings in such kind of color code and other things, although we have some, but we have not used them entirely. But I think you have noticed that, all of you have noticed that whenever you come at Kathmandu University, we do have some common practices while preparing a course plan, or while establishing our culture, and then while establishing relationship with students. So you may find some commonalities. So that is what a kind of this branding institutions. So similarly, we also can go for pedagogical branding. So how do you implement, how do you develop some innovative pedagogical perspective in certain education institutions? So they all come under branding. So thank you so much for your time and for your effort to make this this program very successful. So thank you for joining. So I hope that all of you have filled the form. The form is in the link of the form is in the chat box. So once again, thank you. So we'll see on every Saturday 5:30. Again, we'll come with other exciting presentations in the incoming Saturday. So thank you so much, Prerna ma'am and Janak sir, Parikshit sir, Siva sir for your effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for everyone for your active participation, and we will be meeting on Saturday at the same time. Thank you so much.